Hello, and welcome to the Fulfilling Singlehood and Married Life TV program. I am Benedicta Umbong, and today we'll be talking about the fulfilling single life. I find out that many singles feel unfulfilled in their singlehood, and one of the main reasons is the confusion they have with the male folk, especially single ladies who are wondering, why is it so difficult to understand men? Why am I finding it so difficult to keep a man? And if you're not careful as a single lady, you might begin to think that there's a problem with you because it seems like all your relationships are not working. This person comes and then before long they leave, and then, or it's you who's breaking up, and then you begin to question your ability to keep a relationship. And many times it is easier really because we know ourselves. It is easier to blame ourselves, put all the fault on ourselves, and think there must be something I'm doing wrong. There must be something wrong with me, and that's why men are not staying. I don't think it's as difficult as that. Sometimes in singlehood, our challenge really is that we haven't put things in perspective. We get all emotional about the things that are going on around us, going on in our lives, in these relationships, and we don't put them in perspective. We get all emotional. We see things from an emotional perspective. I was speaking with someone recently, and I said to her that many of the problems we experience in our relationships as ladies in singlehood will be very much avoided or can be very much minimized if we kept things in perspective, if we looked at things away from our emotions and just looked at things as they are. You see, because sometimes, for instance, a lady is in a relationship with a guy who has temper issues, who has anger issues, and she doesn't realize that it is not really her problem. It is his problem. And that doesn't mean the fact that he's always losing his temper doesn't mean there's something wrong with her. But many times when such a relationship breaks up, the lady seems to look at it like it's her problem. It becomes even more serious when the very guy who, broke up with her because of his temper issues goes on and gets married to somebody else, and then she's wondering, if he could marry that person, it means there's something wrong with me, there's something wrong with how patient I get or impatient I get. And she's thinking this, so she internalizes all these issues, and before long she begins to drag her past into her future. And so it seems like the lady who's not getting married or who's not having a stable relationship seems to go on that road. It looks like her past is repeating itself. It's not necessarily that way. The problem really is she's pulling her past into her future. She's thinking, I had a problem then, I have that problem now, I'm going to have that problem in the future. You need to look at things in perspective. If you look at things away from your emotions, if you look at things in perspective for what they really are, you'll find out that it really wasn't your problem. It was a problem of compatibility. It was a problem of him not working with me. Him not working with me doesn't mean he can work with somebody else. Him not working with me is his personality is not working with my personality. They say it is a square peg in a square hole. And so it is hardly the peg's problem or the hole's problem. It is the fact that they are either incompatible because a square peg is trying to fit into a round hole. And so the round hole doesn't have a problem. The square peg doesn't have a problem. What the square peg needs to focus on seeking is a square hole. And what the round hole needs to focus on seeking is a round peg. You see, so many of the issues that we think, we're facing in singlehood, and this goes for both men and women, we're facing in singlehood and we're thinking, there's something wrong with me. You need to learn to detach emotionally from the results you're getting and look at things more in perspective. It is not because he's a bad person. It's not because she is a bad person. And really, this helps us to forgive quickly and move on quickly. When you walk out of one relationship that didn't seem to work out, if you looked at things in perspective, if you looked at things clearly for what they really are, you would forgive the person. For instance, you broke up from a relationship where the person didn't give you attention, the person didn't treat you right, and then you come out, and then you're trying to get into another one, and you're thinking, is he going to treat me right? Is he going to give me attention? And then suddenly that fills your mind, and every time probably he misses a day to call you, you think history is repeating itself. If you had put things in perspective and you had seen for yourself that it really wasn't a problem of you being impatient or him not calling, if you had simply seen it as, I am the kind of person who needs attention, and he's the kind of person who's not used to calling, and so we went our separate ways because we weren't really agreeing on that, and this is really important to me, and it wasn't working with him. if you see it in that perspective, you would understand that you have dealt with that, and that is in the past. And then now you're in the future, in a new relationship, and this person has his own personality. And so you won't be comparing. First, you won't hold a grudge against that person that you walked away from, because you understand that it's just his personality. And many of the problems we face in singlehood is we're not letting go, we're not forgiving, we're not moving on quickly enough, because in our hearts we've not really forgiven. You would forgive a lot easily when you understand that it was just the person's personality. And you can't judge his personality. You can't hate him for his personality. It just wasn't working for you. Don't forget, this person has siblings, this person has parents, and they haven't thrown him away or thrown her away. They love her, they love him for who he or she is. And so if their personality didn't work for you, all you need to do is look at things in perspective. Don't get so emotional, so deeply lost in the situation that happened in your past that you paint your future with everything that happened in your past. Because you have a beautiful future. There's somewhere you're going. There's something God wants to do with your life in this near future. And it's beautiful. But until you drop the past where it belongs and move right on to the new thing God wants to begin doing in your life, you're going to go round in circles. And so I started out today saying many of the frustrations singles face in singlehood is not far from the fact that they are not looking at things in perspective. They're getting all emotional about the challenges they are facing. They are internalizing. They're thinking there must be something wrong with me. And somebody must have even told you, you can't even keep a man. You can't even keep a woman. Everybody that comes into your life leaves. There must be something wrong with you. Doesn't mean they're right. They only said from their own perspective. Again, it's perspective. And so how do you see yourself? What are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to yourself? What are you saying about yourself? That's what's going to really determine whether the single life is a fulfilling one for you. What you tell yourself, what you believe about yourself, and the thoughts you have about your personality. So remember, compatibility is not a problem of he has issues or she has issues. No, it is my personality is not working with his personality. And if you cannot reach a middle ground, which is which is the point at which we talk about compromise. If you cannot reach a middle ground, that's where we talk about going your separate ways. Because your relationship shouldn't make you unhappy and unfulfilled. Your relationship should add to you. Should make you a happier person. Should make you stronger. Should make you feel more fulfilled. Should make you feel more purposeful. Next time we come your way again, we'll be talking about compromise. Good compromise and bad compromise. You don't want to miss it. I'm Benedicta Mbong once again, and I'd like to say to you, you have a right to your fulfillment. Don't let anyone or anything rob you of it. God bless you. Bye-bye.